Here we are back in Burton on Trent. We came here for my first video blog to talk about the brewing liquor which made Burton on Trent the brewing capital of this country, which it's been for the last 200 odd years. But we're here for a very special reason.
Yeah, I'm so glad to be back in Burton on Trent. I spent a lot of time here while I was researching my third book, Hops and Glory, because this was the home of British brewing. It's such a special place. It kind of doesn't look it when you're kind of passing through, but when you learn about it and its history and the significance of it in British brewing, it really is a magical place. It's been in decline for quite a while now, but there are signs that Burton's really re-emerging as an important brewing force, and there's no better example of that than the fact that this week it's home to the Brewing Industry International Awards, a 125-year-old awards ceremony, and right now, at this very moment, this beer is being judged by 30 of the world's best, most talented brewers.
Well, here at the Brewing International Awards, I've managed to catch hold of the main person behind it all, Ruth Evans of the BFBI. So, Ruth, tell me about this event.
Right, this event is the oldest international brewing competition in the world, formed in 1886. We like to think it's known as one of the most prestigious. We don't believe that one competition is better than another, but all competitions raise the profile of beer. But we do like to think that our competition searches for excellence in beer. There's a number of issues that sets us aside from others in the way that we judge.
And 125 years?
125 years old this year, so we're celebrating 125 years of brewing excellence.
And so why Burton on Trent?
Because Burton on Trent is still viewed by the international brewing community as the centre of UK brewing.
Now, today's cask-conditioned beer, which is my great love, so how many entries are there here?
We have 199 cask-conditioned beer entries.
Right.
We have 166 in the cask ale category, and the remainder have gone into other categories such as strong or speciality beers.
And are they all British?
No, they're not. We have a few non-British entries.
That's interesting. Where are those non-British ones from?
We've got, at the moment, I can't tell you because we've not released the results, but if I said over the water USA couple...
So the Americans are now copying our styles?
The Americans are taking on the challenge.
Right. Okay. Wonderful event, Ruth. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is Worthington White Shield. It stretches back to the 1830s, to the heyday of Burton brewing and the heyday of Burton's dominance as a producer of India Pale Ale. This is a survivor of that tradition. It's a bottle-conditioned beer, which means it's got yeast still fermenting in a slow secondary fermentation inside the bottle. And what that means is that this is beer that ages and changes over time. And I've drunk so much of it, I can actually tell what age I prefer. Up to about 3 months, it's a bit too spritzy, a bit too fresh. The flavours are a little bit too assertive. After 3 months, it mellows a bit. This one is about 12 months old, so I think this is going to be quite interesting. And there's a lovely complex head on it, quite coppery, a bit spicy. And then, yeah, in the body, in the mouth, that complexity is starting to develop. There are flavours in here that were not here in the original ingredients when this beer was first brewed. There's a lot of spiciness in it. There's a kind of a Cointreau element, a kind of orange peel, but just sort of dried and a bit sharper. The malt's in there, a really firm bed of that. The hop flavours have pulled back a bit and turned into something else. There's just a whole melange of different flavours in there. We use words to describe beer. We use fruity words. We use kind of caramelly, malty words. We use spicy words, all these different flavours, different analogies, and they're all in this glass of beer just now. And the reason I'm being so nice about this beer is entirely due to what is in the glass. It has nothing to do with the fact that the man who brewed it and rescued it 10 years ago from obscurity is standing right next to me, and is quite a bit bigger than me. Steve Wellington, brewer at the Worthington Brewery.
Hi Pete, yes, you're absolutely right. An amazing beer, if I may say so. Well, I should say so, obviously. It has a tremendous heritage. It goes back to about 1830, where it was first brewed. I don't think the recipe's changed very much. The taste is still exquisite. It's a beer that really used to be in pubs, especially during when lager started to arrive. If a pub didn't have cask ale, they would normally keep Worthington White Shield, because it was a sort of in-between. People could say, I'm drinking a real ale without having to drink a cask beer. It's got a lovely creamy head to it. I'm very proud to brew it. Thank you for your kind words, Pete, and your very good health. Cheers.
I've managed to get hold of Bill Taylor, who's the chairman of the judges, is that right?
Yes, that's
Bill?
right, Betty, yes.
And so can you tell us a bit about the judging?
Well, the judging here in Burton on Trent is called the Brewing Industry International Awards. It's an international competition, and I'm in there working with 30 judges, 10 of which are from local UK breweries, and the rest come from far and wide around the world. And we're here judging almost 800 beers.
And this is about beer excellence, isn't it?
That's correct. We've got professional brewers here looking at beers through the eyes of a consumer, I suppose you'd say, and looking for beers that really delight the senses, that demonstrate excellence.
Wonderful. Now, we're particularly interested in cask-conditioned beers, so there's actually, within the classes, hundreds, isn't there?
Yes, no, that's right. There's almost 200.
Yeah.
And we've got judges in there at this very moment as we speak, looking, sniffing, tasting, comparing and talking about the excellent attributes of these beers. The judges are not in any way influenced by anything other than the liquid that they are seeing in the glass in front of them. And then they look at that beer, they assess it visually, they assess the aroma, finally the taste, and then we look at the overall harmony and balance of flavours in that beer and discuss that between us to actually arrive at the best decision on those elements of excellence that we find in the different beers.
Brilliant. And being professional judges, their point of view on it, they will be judged from a very professional point of view.
Yes, all of the judges, and it's an unusual thing. Many competitions are different, but in our competition we insist on professional brewers who are currently working. They understand what tasting beer is about, but they also drink beer. They love beer. They're in the pubs, they're drinking beer. They understand the marketplace. And we get them to look through the eyes of a professional brewer who understands the ingredients, understands the processes, understands where the flavours come from. And that's how they can bring a really good decision forward and give the consumer a mark of excellence.
Just for once, I'm going to review a beer, and we've come into the yard of the National Brewing Museum with these lovely old vehicles, and this one here belongs to the Burton Bridge Brewery. They're established some 25 plus years, so they could be regarded as one of the new wave of brewers. This is Bridge Bitter from Burton Bridge Brewery. A classic English bitter, 4.2, bitter, moorish aftertaste, wanting more. It's one of their flagship beers, to be found within this area and slightly further on occasions. This is the sort of beer that made Burton great, brewed with those Burton salts, fine malts, bit of chocolate malt to give you the colour, and those lovely English hops that give you that lovely dry bitter aftertaste, that moorishness. It's a very good session beer. This is the sort of beer I like. Well, Pete, we've come to the end of a wonderful time in Burton here. International Brewing Awards. What's going to happen now?
Yeah, the end always comes too soon when you're in Burton, but people are starting to flock in now. The atmosphere is getting really intense, which is a joke because we're in a marquee. What's going to happen now is that the gold, silver and bronze winners in each of the 33 categories of beer that have been judged here today are about to be named, read out, but not officially announced, because that was in April, which is why we can't tell you, and we have to stop filming in just a few minutes.
Let's go and have a beer, shall we?
Yeah, we're just going to have to go and drink some of these 800 beers instead.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to you.